guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video, hi, I'm Alaina, and this is The Organized Money, where we talk about planning life and managing money. In today's video, we're going to be setting up a brand new month in my budget planner. If you've never seen my budget planner before, it is an undated monthly planner. You get a monthly calendar. You also are able to write down your monthly budget, your sinking funds, your savings, and all of your paychecks. You get 4 paycheck budget sheets, and then it goes into an expense tracker where you can track all of your expenses for the month and then your monthly closeout. So this is what it looked like for the month of February, and we're going to be doing the exact same setup for the month of March. The first thing to note is before the monthly calendar, before you get into the actual monthly calendar, there is this blank sheet here. This is where I pre-plan for the upcoming month. So I'm going to start on this sheet. I'm going to write down all of the fixed expenses, variable expenses, anything that I am expecting to happen this month before I write it on my monthly calendar. So this is my pre-planning section. I am basically looking at my fixed expenses, variable expenses, events, and anything else that may come up throughout the course of the month. So the first set of expenses that I wrote down are my fixed expenses. These are all of my bills, anything that does not change. So these amounts do not change, and they are due on the exact same day of the month. Next, I have our variable expenses. So with our variable expenses, our food budget is much higher, and it's mainly because we are currently getting our kitchen renovated. So I have to plan more for eating out than cooking because we currently cannot cook in the house with the current state of our kitchen. So I have a food budget of $1,200, it's $300 per week, and a shopping budget of $200, and that's mainly for any Amazon or anything else that we need to get. So I have a lot of friends who have birthdays in the month of March, so I have set up a couple of budgets along with their birthdays so that I can purchase some gifts. So this is my pre-planned budget. This is where I'm just kind of writing everything out to see how much all of this is going to be for the month of March. I have my calculator here. I'm going to add up each section so that I can see how close I am to my income budget. So I like to do an income budget of around $9,000, meaning that I want all of these numbers to be under 9,000. So this is me pre-planning my month. The very next thing that I'm going to do is decorate my monthly spread. So I always like to add stickers just to make it a little bit pretty. Last month we did a Valentine's theme, so it was like all red. This month we are doing green for March. And now I'm just going to add in all of my dates. So I've added in all of my dates. The next thing that I'm going to do is add in all of my paydays. So I've marked the paydays off with these circular stickers, but I'm also just going to highlight and write in payday on every Tuesday and every other Friday, because those are the days that we will have income coming into our personal account. So now that I have written in all of my paydays, the next step is to write in all of my fixed expenses. I like to use colorful dots in order to do this, so I will pull off the dots and associate them with different weeks in order to decide which payday is going to cover which expenses. If you're interested in these colorful dots, they are from my Etsy shop, and you can see the link in the description box. Okay, so here is the final budget of everything written out. I have separated the weeks by colorful dots. So as you can see, the very first color is yellow, then green, then turquoise, then gray. And that's how I separate my paydays. So I get paid every single Tuesday. And so I will cover these expenses with this particular payday and so on. The next thing that I have done is at the bottom here, I have added my overall goals for the month. I want to pay off $1,000 in credit card debt, add $500 to short-term savings, invest $500, and meet the budget for all 4 weeks. Meaning that everything that we have set for the budget goal for the week, all of these numbers, I want to stay within them. And so that's the goal for this month. If I meet a budget for a particular week, let's say we get through the entire week, we have done all of these things, have not gone over budget, then I'm just going to add something on the sidebar right here to let myself know that we actually met budget that week. I'm going to review our budget every single Sunday, and then this is the time where I will mark off if we actually met budget that week. On this sidebar, I will write in anything that's coming up in the next month. So if I have something coming up in the month of April, I will just write it down here. So this is it for my monthly spread, and I really like, this is my favorite sheet to do because I feel like this is my main place where I am looking to see how we are doing throughout the course of the week. This one, and of course the paycheck weeks. But this is the overview for the month. I have everything set up. The next thing that I'll do is actually add everything into my paycheck budget. So my paycheck budget is actually the weekly breakdown. As you can see, I have all of the numbers listed here per week, but I like to actually add them all in here so that when that week comes up, I am just easily able to just start working on that week. Okay, so I have just added in all of my expenses for the weeks of the month. And this just basically saves me some time so that I don't have to do this setup every single week beforehand. It's already set up for the entire month. And basically I am just pulling all of the expenses from here and then just writing them down in list form. But when I am doing it on this sheet, I'm actually comparing it to the income that I have decided to pay myself for that week. So I pay myself and my husband both from our business accounts. I pay myself $2,000 every 2 weeks, so it's $1,000 every week. I pay him $1,000 every week. So every single week we get income of $2,000. Either I am paying myself for the past 2 weeks or I am paying him for the past 2 weeks. And then that is how I am allocating our expenses out based on that income every single Tuesday. Now, what I will either do based on the week that we are working with, either I will have a cushion, some extra money that is left over that I will just add at the bottom here to make sure that the expenses equal the income, or I may have a deficit, meaning that my expenses are actually higher than the $2,000 amount. So for this week, the second week, it's always like this every single month. My expenses are always higher than $2,000. So what I will usually do during that second week is use some of the cushion that was left over from the week before. So this week I had $595 left over. I am basically going to use $100 of that $500 and use that for the expenses for this week. Now, usually other things will come up. So let me show you what happened in the month of February. So usually other things will come up. expenses may come out of the account that I may not be thinking of, or we may need to get a gift or something else. Like this week we had to purchase a gift. When that happens, I have my projected amount on this side, and then I have my actuals. I will usually write in red anything that has actually happened, check off things as they clear the account, and then write myself notes on the side here. But this is the way that I am able to kind of keep track of what's the actual balance in the account. And then I will even write my balance on the side here. Like I will highlight it and then write in the balance. And that's the best way for me to keep track of how much money is in our bill account at any point in time. Now, I used to do this exact same thing for our spending account, but I realized that I don't really need to monitor our spending account unless we are going over budget. Now, if we continuously go over budget and I am transferring money into that account to cover expenses, then I will track to see what's going on, if we're spending too much, why are we spending too much. But for the most part, everything that comes out of that account is basically food. So I will just allocate $300 a week to food. And as long as we are staying with that, we are usually good in our spending account. The bill account is where I am mainly keeping track of everything that kind of comes out of that account and keeping track of my overall categories. So I have set up all of the weeks in my planner, and then what I'll do is add all of the expenses and the categories so that I can see how much we have spent per category in the month of March. The last part of this is adding all of my numbers into my trackers. So I'm just going to add the month at the top, and then I'm going to add our bank balance for our emergency fund in here. So that's the beginning balance. And then that way I can just keep track of any savings, deposits, and withdrawals in this section here. With my monthly budget page, the way I have been using this is just keeping track after I have paid a particular bill. So after I check one off on my monthly sheet, like let's say I finished paying my mortgage, because I pay my mortgage in 2 payments. Once I finish paying it, I will add it to this sheet here to let myself know that I actually paid it. So I have my savings tracker here. Then we're going to do my sinking funds. Initially with my sinking funds, I was dividing it up into different categories, but I realized that it was becoming a real hassle to try and stay on top of everything. So now I am just using 3 overall categories. The first one is our short-term savings account. In this account, I am keeping any kind of repairs or any other additional expenses that we may have, like for events or anything that's coming up. I will pull from the money that is in this account. Currently, we are doing house renovations, so a nice amount of this money is going to be going toward that. It's just currently sitting in this account until we are ready to pay the contractor for different things that is being done. My next 2 sinking fund accounts are actually my tithe and my taxes. So I just recently switched the way that I was tithing to my church, and it's mainly because of the way that we get paid. Since money is constantly coming into my business account, it was very difficult for me to calculate how much I was supposed to be spending for our giving. We do 10% of all of our income, and difficult for me to calculate our overall taxes. So what I decided to do is to put these 2 categories into my capital account. So with my capital account, it's an app that's on my phone, and it automatically pulls 10% of my income into the app. So every single time that we get paid, it automatically takes 10% and put it into the app. Now, this helps me out so much because then at the beginning of the very next month, what I can do is transfer all of the money that is in the app, and then I can give it as a donation, or I can keep it in there until it's time to cover our taxes. So I'm just going to write down the beginning balance that is currently in that account. And then when we get into March, I will move this tithe money into our actual account and give it to our church. And I will leave the taxes amount still in the account until we cover our taxes for this year. And the last sheet in here is our debt. And the current balance on the credit card is $10,089.40. So just to quickly walk you through everything that I have set up, this is my pre-planning for the month when I was just averaging out and seeing how much each category was going to cost us. Then you have the monthly spread where I have added all of the fixed expenses, variable expenses. I did not add any of the events on here. See why? That's why you have to do it. So I'm going to have to go back and actually add in all of my events, which is why I love to make sure that I do my pre-planning, because whenever I don't pre-plan, I usually miss out on something or forget something. So this is going to affect my weeks overall, but it's okay because they aren't large amounts. And I believe that every single week that I have added it on, it shouldn't be an issue. So this is my monthly spread where I have added in all of the expenses that I have from this sheet on here. This is where I'm going to keep track of everything that I have paid for the month so that I am able to check it off here and then write it in to let myself know when things were actually covered. And then this is just an extra scratch sheet. I use this all the time just to kind of jot down different notes of different things that I need to do or bills that may have come in. I keep a little pocket folder in here, and this is just like different things that I get in the mail that I make sure that I want to cover. So I will pop this in here, and I might write myself a note here as well. So this is just like scratch sheet of paper. After this, you have my savings tracker where I'm keeping track of everything that's coming in and out of our long-term emergency fund. On this side is all of our sinking funds. The very top one is repairs and any events. Then I have our tithe sinking fund and our taxes sinking fund. After that, I have my debt tracker sheet. So this is me paying off our last credit card. Then we go into our paycheck budgets. And this is where I am keeping track of every single week, the income and the expenses as they come in and out of the account. On this side is where I will do my summary. So after we are finished with the entire month, I'm going to add all of the different categories on this side, add everything up to make sure that we are still within our budget range. Basically comparing it to what I estimated at the very front here. And then even at the end of every single week, when I do my weekly review on Sunday, I will check off on this column here if we actually met the budget. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this budget with me. Have you already set up your monthly budget for the month of March? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep organizing your life so that you can achieve your dreams. Bye guys. Did you guys know that I have a group coaching program called Tom Academy over on Patreon? If you didn't, you are missing out. It's $25 a month and we talk about planning life and managing money. We have live classes every single week, and if you want more information, make sure that you click this video and I will tell you all about it.